Well, we've had some longer videos lately. We'll break things up and do a shorter one. Just a few comments about the first part of John chapter 6, the first 24 verses. The feeding of the 5,000 is a pretty well-known miracle story. It's a great story. It's a great event in the life of Jesus. But in a lot of ways, it's really just setting the stage for what happens in the second half of the chapter. Maybe you know the story. Jesus is teaching a great crowd of people by the Sea of Galilee, and they're a long way from anywhere. There's no food to be had anywhere, and Jesus becomes concerned for the crowd, and he asks his disciples, where can we get food for all these people? And of course, they don't have an answer. Philip says it would take more than half a year's wages for each one to have a bite if we were to buy bread. And Andrew mentions there's a young boy who has 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish. Of course, that's not nearly enough. But Jesus has all the people sit down, and he distributes the food. He miraculously multiplies the food, and everyone's fed with food left over. So this is another time when Jesus does something impossible. And the options are either that it's not true or that he's God. But what's key here in terms of what's coming is in verses 14 and 15. Because there it says that the people saw this sign and they come to believe that Jesus is the prophet, one who Moses said would come. Moses prophesied 1,500 years before about one who would come who was like him, that the people should listen to and follow. So verse 15 says they knew that Jesus knew they intended to come and make him king by force. So he withdrew. He sought out some solitude. And for a long time, I misunderstood that statement, and I thought that it meant they would somehow make him king against his will. As a kid in Sunday school, I pictured, are they holding Jesus down and forcing a crown on his head? But that's not what that means. When it says make him king by force, it means overthrow the Roman government by force. It means they think that now the Messiah has come and he can do miracles. And so nothing can stop them from throwing off the bonds of their oppressors. It means they think it's time to stage a rebellion with Jesus as their leader. And of course, what that means is that Jesus is going to be a great disappointment to them, because that is not his agenda at all, as we'll see. Well, then verses 16 through 24 are the story of Jesus walking on water, another pretty well-known miracle story. There are actually longer versions of this story in some of the other Gospels. But the idea is that it's so important for Jesus to get time away, to find some solitude and to pray, to connect with his Father, that he sends the disciples across the lake without him in the boat, and then he goes up on a mountainside by himself, which raises the question, how is he going to get there? They've got the boat. Well, there's a great storm. They're not able to make much headway, and Jesus walks out on the water in the middle of the night and catches up to them. Some of the other Gospels have the story of Peter briefly walking on water. But then they all get in the boat, they reach the other side, and then it says that the crowd realizes they've left and they take some boats to go catch up to Jesus. And we'll just leave things there. We'll pick up the story there in the next video.